Q&A. Welcome, human beings. First one, I suppose, is probably the main one we always get asked, which is, what's his real name? A lot of people look for Bean on the racing post, and sadly, that's not his real name. His full name, as written here on his lovely shiny head collar, which he covers in food, is Caribbean Spring. He's a 6-year-old gelding out of a mare called Bogini, who also apparently quite likes mud, and he's by a really beautiful stallion called Dark Angel. And I like to think one day he might go grey, because Dark Angel's grey, but you know, holding out hope. He's won 4 races under rules and 1 charity race, so 5 in total, 2 for me. You're not ready to have both of those. And so I'll kick off with your questions. Beanie. Favourite race course and why? I suppose both of ours would have to be Ascot, owing to the fact that we had our first win there. And they do good snacks, people and horses. There's plenty of grass though. Yeah. We met Prince Charles. That was pretty cool. So Ascot. With regards to his pampering routine, Bean isn't actually a fan of being brushed. He's pretty leggy and teethy when you're in a spot he doesn't like, which is most places. But he does really like a massage, and as often as I can, I'll give him a massage using lavender oils. Sorry, is that personal? Don't want everyone knowing his favourite is lavender. Loves a bit of lavender. I love it when he's got one, because then it's a mixture of poo and lavender. It's a cracking smell. And the boss human gives him his haircuts. He hates having his mane pulled. Will protest quite largely. Okay, so pampering routine. Favourite racehorse from the past? I'd probably say Atavus, who's our hack. He's 22, won the Bunbury Cup, bit of a legend. Also probably about the only horse in the yard he has any level of respect for, because he's a little bit frightened of him. Because Atavus is probably just as naughty as Bean, but a little bit too old to be as naughty as Bean. Biggest, bravest protectors would probably be going out with Model. A little bit of fear in your eyes though when I say her name. He's probably a lot worse behaved than Bean in the grand scheme of things. So, quite fair for all involved in that one. Favourite snacks? He's always loved apples. Didn't actually used to like carrots until quite recently, when lovely Bean Pan brought some Aldi carrots, and he was all for them, ate them. It was great. Spat a few back out on me, but that's progress in our eyes. Best and worst parts of Bean's job. So, yeah? Toast, please. So, best and worst parts of Bean's job. So the best, obviously, winning. Worse, losing. He absolutely hates losing. He's a bit of a sore loser. He'll be funny about it for a few days. He'll be a little bit sulky. Even if he doesn't win a gallop, for example, he's a little bit like, livid. So, it's not a good loser. But that's fair enough. It means that he likes his racing and he enjoys winning. What is Bean getting small human for Christmas? I'm going to imagine poop covered rug, and the hope of maybe winning something next year. Yeah? If you and Chubby had a race over a mile, who would win? I mean, probably going to be Chubby, isn't it, bud? Just a little bit, just a smidge faster. Just a smidge. Bean is not going to accept that. How far do you run every morning when you train, and how fast? So we go up the Long Hill Canter, which is about a mile. It has quite a steady incline, and we go up there, I believe, so I do 18-second furlongs, but I build it up, so I'll do 20 seconds, 19 seconds, 18 seconds for 2, and then we'll pull up and come to a stop. I believe we do about 30, 38 miles an hour. Could be wrong. I should probably get some facts on that. But we go quite fast. He's quite fast. Race was slow. First distance. Sprints, long races, sand or turf. So 1 mile is his ideal trip. It's what he prefers, it's what he's won over. Doesn't tend to win over other distances. But we take our opportunities. Obviously, amateur races are quite few and far between. So if an opportunity comes up over 6 or 7 and he's particularly well, aka gonna kill me soon, we'll go for it. Because why not? He probably needs to run. Don't you? Because you're a pain. Sometimes it's difficult because he likes the all-weather. Older horses appreciate the all-weather because it's a bit gentler on them. But he really enjoyed Ascot, good soft, the day we won. Thoroughly enjoyed that. So, both. Where's best for the scritches? Well, he likes it on his temples and his ears. Come here. I'll give you loving. But he's not keen in many other places. But yeah, the head mainly is the best place for the scratches. We don't spot. What would Bean change about the small human? Probably want me to be a little bit quicker at decision making in races. He actually most of the time finds the gaps and goes to them, whereas I'm still trying to figure out which direction we're going in. So, naughtiest thing Bean has ever done. The day he accidentally dropped me at the top of the Ferry Hill canter. It was my own fault. He wasn't pulling up properly, so I went to send him round the bend of the canter, and he went left and I went right, and it took me about 20 minutes to catch him when he was loose. He was really quite happy being loose. He ran around a walker, went to someone's yard, walker. Are there plans to have visitors to meet Bean? So we're currently in the process of setting up a club, the Bean Club. Club Beans is what club meant, the Bean Club. It would be £10 a month, but if you don't want to be a member, that's fine, you can still come visit him. We're going to try and organise some open mornings and things like that, because everybody wants to meet Bean. Thrilled to meet you all. Apart from yourself, Bean, who do you admire most? Beanie. Probably the boss human. I think he sees him as a little bit of his hero, because Dad thinks it's such a bad thing that whenever Bean gets frightened, he runs towards the boss human. And in reality, I think he sees him as a safety blanket, as opposed to him being badly behaved. What will you do when you retire? So the plan is, I'm going to retrain him. Ideally, I'd like to do show jumping or cross country, but it will be based on what he enjoys. If he doesn't enjoy it, we won't be doing it, because the idea of trying to force him to do something, as we all know, that doesn't really go that well. How does the small human put up with your antics? I have all the patience in the world when it comes to Bean. The first time I rode him was a bit of a shock, and I was a little bit like, really? Is this a thing? But then I just learned over the years to laugh and enjoy it and just not take him too seriously, because if I'm being brutally honest, if he wanted me off, I'd have come off by now. The day I did fall off was not his intention. He was desperately sad he'd lost me, hence why he ran around loose for so long and was like, ah! But he makes up for it because he is the best behaved horse I've ever ridden at the races. I mean, I kid you not. He goes down to start impeccably, stands in the stalls like a dream, regardless of what's going on around him. And he's just a bit of a dream at the races. So he makes up for it. You're not having it. I know. Which string do you most enjoy meeting and saying hello to? Take the Dolphin, hands down. Don't know if it's the blue or because they have a lot of big horses or big colts, but he just can't contain himself. When he sees them, he's like, this is it, we're going in. Just loses his marbles slightly. Don't you? Just had the word Godolphin, now we're off. Love it. Was it love at first sight for Bean and the small human? It was love at first sight for Bean and mother of Bean. I didn't really get to know Bean until a few months after we'd had him. I was working away in London at the BHA, so I was riding him on weekends. I was galloping him for Mum. Don't you dare. Oh. You smushy? And so I was galloping him for Mum on the weekends, and pretty soon got to know him and I quite liked him. So when I eventually came back to Newmarket and was able to ride out every morning, Mum gave him up to me pretty merrily, because I think she got to a point where he was getting, not too much, but just, yeah, he was pushing some boundaries that Mum wasn't too happy with, whereas I just, it's fine. But she did do a lot for him in the time that she was riding him. She made him learn to go onto the canter properly and trot properly and not be such an idiot. I've let him slip back into his habits. best protect technique, probably the whip round on the buck, seems to be his favourite. Oh, you've had enough now, come on then. Have you ever met an Abel? Have you ever met an Abel Bean? Yes, we have. We followed her home one day, and you very much tried to cause some chaos, but she just ignored us, which was great. Aside from poop decoratings, what surprises do you have planned for the small human for Christmas? Probably just generally causing chaos would be. Bye. Can we let go? No.